evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed members of the Prabha Khaitan Foundation. I, Nilima Dalmia Adhar, Honorary Convener of Delhi NCR Affairs of the Prabha Khaitan Foundation, am delighted to welcome you here today. The Prabha Khaitan Foundation is a Kolkata-based non-profit trust that was founded by the late Dr. Prabha Khaitan in the 1980s. Dr. Khaitan was not just a literature enthusiast and a cultural activist, but also a philanthropist with a vision that can be summarized as Karma hi Jeevan hai. Our actions define our lives. Her motto has been the guiding light for the Foundation's remarkable journey dedicated to curating literary and cultural activities, literature festivals, and other knowledge-sharing initiatives. Over the past 4 decades, the Foundation has played a significant role in nurturing Indian literature and culture, not just within the country, but across the global landscape. Today, our reach has spread to more than 50 cities worldwide. We can get a clap for that. We take great pride in acknowledging and celebrating remarkable achievements, serve as a powerful source of inspiration and motivation for us. Connecting and building bridges is one of the top priorities for the Foundation. We work relentlessly towards elevating our literary and cultural initiatives by fostering global collaborations, and in this direction, we have already made significant strides. Our events in Edinburgh, in collaboration with the Scottish Centre of Tagore Studies and the Indian Consulate, have included Kalam, a platform for Indian authors who write in Hindi. We have also organized Ek Mulaqat series featuring several Indian artists to showcase their work. Just 4 days from now, on the 15th of October, we are hosting a Kalam Utsav in London, where almost 15 of our authors from India shall be participating in extremely engaging discussions during that festival. But today is a moment of great pride for us as we gather here to meet and greet distinguished parliamentary and business delegates from Scotland. We are honored to have with us the eminent International Booker Prize awardee, Ms. Gitanjali Shri, the accomplished Kathak danceress, Shinjini Kulkarni, who is also the granddaughter of the great Pandit Birju Maharaj, Dr. Vijay Chauthavale. Have I said the name right?
I think he's not.
Is he here?
He's not here.
Okay. Who is in charge Department of Foreign Affairs of the BJP. May I now invite Ms. Poonam Gupta, the renowned industrialist and philanthropist from Scotland, to say a few words and introduce our delegates. Ehsas woman of Delhi, to please felicitate Ms. Poonam Gupta.
So I first came to know about Prabha Khaitan Foundation when I had the chance to meet Mr. Sandeep Putoria, the force behind this foundation, and had a lovely breakfast with him in London when I learned all the work Prabha Khaitan Foundation and their chapters are doing. So thank you so much for spreading our culture, our heritage everywhere in the world. I kind of think of him like Ashoka, taking the message everywhere and in every corner of the world.
Well, if he's listening, we should clap hard for him.
I'm also grateful that all of you could come tonight to meet some of our honourable member of Scottish Parliament who have come to India to strengthen the ties between India and Scotland. But to tell you a little bit more about them, I will invite later on Miss Pam Gosal. Pam Gosal, just a couple of words about her, has been the first Indian woman member of Scottish Parliament ever in Scotland.
Wow.
And also the first Sikh woman. You tick a lot of boxes. She's also the first person ever to take a lead in creating a cross-party group on India in the Scottish Parliament, to which almost every party, national party, and their representatives are part of. So before we go further and introducing the delegates, I would like...
Can I invite Shinjini Kulkarni and Shazia Ilmi to please come forward to felicitate the delegates.
Sorry, just one more second. My dear friend, who's managed here despite the fact she's not been feeling very well, is the Joint Secretary of ICCR, Miss Anju Ranjan, who's sitting there looking very pretty in yellow and red sari. I've known her for more than 7 years now when she first came to Scotland as a Consulate General. And she's practically been my Wikipedia, I must say. The woman has so much knowledge, I can't keep up with her.
Wow.
Incredible. Thank you. So thank you once again and enjoy your evening.
Once you call them.
Okay. Ms. Pampusa.
Wow. This is a very common, beautiful scarf. With lots of love. Oh, thank you so much. This is what we're going to do. Yeah.
Another powerhouse who can be quite quiet and in the corner is Miss Sharon Dowie. May I invite you? May I now invite Mr. Fazal Chaudhry?
And this work is from West Bengal, Antha work.
I've always, like we always say, save the best for the last. Mr. Kenneth Gibson, who is a member of Scottish Parliament for the ruling party in Scotland. So he's from Scottish National Party.
Yes, this goes with what you're wearing there. This is gorgeous.
Yes, indeed. Sure. Thank you very much. That's absolutely beautiful. Yes. Just like all the people. Thank you.
Foundation for hosting this event for us today. As you can see, that we've had a very busy day, hence why our outfits aren't as beautiful as the outfits you've got. Our outfits are not as beautiful and colourful as your outfits. However, now that we have these beautiful scarves, we feel we fit in right in with you all. So first of all, thank you, obviously, the kind words that Dr. Poonam Gupta has said. Yes, I am the first Indian woman and the first Sikh in the Scottish Parliament, but I am also one of the first women of colour in the Scottish Parliament as well. That's an amazing achievement for a Parliament that once upon a time was predominantly white in Scotland, that there wasn't a lot of basically ethnic minorities in the Parliament. But getting down to that, why are we in India? Now, for me, it's a very, very proud moment, having heritage, my mum and dad from India, from the Punjab, to be here. I'm lucky enough to have visited India quite a few times all over, and it's been great. But I wanted Scotland to introduce to India, because I knew when I went into Parliament, I found out a couple of things that I thought weren't happening. First of all, they didn't know a lot about our culture. So what I did was I started putting on events every single year. Vaisakhi, the very first Eid event, right, we put on, Diwali, and any other event, just so that people in Scotland can be introduced to our culture. And I think that's why we're here today with the foundation, talking about culture and making sure that we can concrete that pathway that may others come along, whether it's collaborations with different countries or whether it's our own South Asian or Asian or BAME, should I say, background to be welcomed in the Scottish Parliament. And every time I do an event, I stand up and the first words that come out of my mouth is basically saying, it's your Parliament, so that everybody feels inclusive. So from there, it was a great start. Then I realised that nobody's talking about India here, you know, and everybody talks about, you know, US, Europe. I mean, obviously with Brexit in Europe, everybody was talking about Europe, but nothing was ever being said about India. So I thought, hold on, they do cross-party groups. Why don't I introduce and create a cross-party group on India? I remember going in front of the committee, right, because you can't create a cross-party group in the Scottish Parliament without being on the committee to go and present to them. And I remember presenting to them why I think that there should be a cross-party group on India. I told them about the economic benefits, the social benefits and the cultural benefits. And straight away, I have to tell you, they didn't really ask me a lot of questions. I sold it to them, and the first cross-party group on India in the Scottish Parliament was created. From there, we looked at, with the cross-party group, that what is it we can do. So there's 3 areas, and when we talk about these 3 areas, that's not all what we were doing. We're moving on to evolve as we go on. One of the areas we looked at is basically education. Then we looked at trade, and then culture. Those are 3 areas. Why they're important is education provides us with that learning, trade provides us that economic stability and benefits, and culture joins us all together. Whether you're in Scotland, whether you're in India, whether you're anywhere in the world, it's culture, the language of culture, that brings us together, giving us respect for each other. Now, this delegation has so far been very, very successful, thanks to obviously all the work that Dr. Poonam Gupta is our sub-lead on the trade area. So we have been focusing on fintech. The financial market and, you know, and sector in India is absolutely amazing. I can use the words, it's mind-blowing, right? We have, I think we were having a debrief upstairs, and one of the things one of the MSP said was, do you think we can actually deliver on India's expectations from us? Of course we can. We're from Scotland, and that's why the cross-party group is there, so that we create those collaborations, we create those synergies, and we create those partnerships. But then we leave it to governments and industry and businesses and the third sector, which is very important with the foundation, to deliver. But we will carve that pathway. But the good thing is, I've heard today from the foundation that they've already made their mark in Edinburgh, which is fantastic, all the work they do, you know, and I think we mustn't take that role down, play it down in any way. The third sector, or NGOs we call them out here, what a role they play. And all the voluntary work they do as well, because a lot of them don't get paid. And I just did the volunteer awards in my area this year as well, because I want to recognise all the work the volunteers do. And without them, to be honest, our economic, social, cultural benefits would not be complete. So yes, I'm going to say we have met the Vice President, we have met Chief Minister, we've met Hardeep Puri, yes, the Minister, which actually 2 days in a row. It was fantastic, and we got to meet obviously the badminton, hockey, all the India players last night as well. It's been very overwhelming, but what's more important to take back is we have had meetings with Invest India, we've had meetings with FICCI, and today we've had a pretty much full-on day with Tata Group. So these are very important. Everything else is great to have the influence around us and also have that kudos when somebody puts it on Twitter, Facebook saying we have been to India. But the important thing is the deliverables. And these 3 organisations have worked very closely with us. We've also had a very brief meeting with ICCR, which we hope that we can also build a lot more links with and strengthen our relationship. So rather than going on, I am going to say thank you so much, obviously, for having me on today. And like one of my colleagues said, this may be our first cross-party group visit, right, to India. but it certainly will not be our last. Thank you very much. She asked a question, and today we were at the BJP headquarters. They were pretty amazed as well, I have to say. They said, is this truly a cross-party group? I went, yes, the three parties. We have the party that's in power in Scotland, the Scottish Nationalist Party, Kenneth Gibson. We have Labour that are looking, I'll say it for Foysel, looking to take over everybody by the UK and Scotland, right? Foysel or Chowdhury from Labour. And then I have my colleagues Sharon Dowie and Alexandra Stewart from the Scottish Conservatives. And obviously we're all flying the flag here on a cross-party basis, but we are learning as individuals for our party as well. And you know, obviously we have basically Kenneth Gibson from the ruling party. I can say that we have our first Prime Minister from the Conservative Party, you know, Rishi Sunak, who is absolutely amazing. So it's great to have Rishi. He's paving the way as well. You can see all his front bench is very much diverse, and that's what's happening in our party. Not only did my party give me a great position, gave me a seat within the 2.5 years, that in fact less than that, but they also made me deputy chairman of the party, you know, and I hold many other portfolios and I sit in many other committees. This is what they've done, and you know, that's a prominently white party that I have brought myself and Dr. Sandesh on as well. So to be honest, things are changing, things are evolving, and that's why we're here today, to be honest, recognising that today the foundation, the stuff they do, when she said, I've made said 60, that's because you're going to get 10 more now after this, that's it. 50 cities they're out on, and that's absolutely fantastic. You know, what, a word of mouth, getting out there in 50 cities. Yes, you're already in Edinburgh, let's get you in Glasgow, let's get you all over Scotland. So thank you very much once again for having us.
Before we leave you, something that I want to know from you, the identities that you carry, being a Sikh and being Scottish, how has that been, the intersectionality of it all, and how does it play out? And we would like to learn from that and understand that better.
Well, I'm going to answer that with two policies here, what that means. So one of the, I don't know if India knows, one of the bills that we're going forward is called Gender Recognition Reform Bill. And it was going through the Scottish Parliament.
Yes.
And I can hopefully say that some of my colleagues, right, okay, did vote against the bill, and some of them voted for their own reasons for the bill, and the bill was passed. That bill meant, you know, yes, we have to give trans people rights, but there has to be a balance. We may be a minority, and I stood up in that parliament, being the only Asian, none of the other Asians stood up, and they all voted for the bill. I argued on that bill, in fact debated, what about single-sex services for our women and girls? What about single-sex spaces? So imagine your toilets, imagine your doctor services, imagine your hospital. Suddenly you don't know who you're going to, what you're doing. And I made a balance. I am not against anybody here, yes, but where are our rights? But then also, where were everybody else's rights? Because it just didn't mean for the ethnic minorities. Actually, all women and girls were crying over this, and I got stopped in the streets. I got cards from 8-year-olds saying, "Mummy said you are keeping us safe." That made me cry. That I hope, yes, I was flying the flag, not for just our ethnic minorities, but also flying the flag for every woman and girl, and also every father that's worried, every brother that's worried as well. And the second thing I can say, which I will go back to obviously with the press, I've been working on a domestic abuse bill in Scotland, which will create a domestic abuse register, just like the sex offenders register. This could be male or females on that, but in that bill there will be proactive approaches and reactive. There will be rehabilitation, mandatory education. But another point I put in, so when domestic abuse happens to that victim, it's not collected that you're from an ethnic minority or BAME background. So I made sure disability and BAME is in that, but the most important thing is that register. And I can happily say that before I left to come to India, I had cross-party support after working 1.5 years. So that bill now will go ahead and get written and go through basically the motions for stage 2 and 3.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you
For
very
doing
much.
all that you do us proud, and we are so happy to have you.
Well, thank you very much. We're very pleased to be here.
So there's so much of Scotland, you know, in terms of in India, if you look at just the whiskey. But I think next time when you come here, I want to just make a request that you please get Sam Hugin along. from Outlander, because women of Prabha Khaitan and generally women would really be a lot happier.
Well, I will try, I can't promise, but Prabhakatan, thank you so much as a foundation for all the work you do and all the support you get from the most amazing people, and whoever has made today possible. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
May we request Mr. Kenneth also to say a few words about how the experience in India has been like and what this last 4 days, considering the fact that this is your first time in India, what has the entire experience been like, and what would you like to say about your India experience?
No, it's not there, here.
Yes? Well, yeah.
You can be there also.
We can take the mic to you. It's okay.
Well, I think we've all been incredibly impressed by India with its energy and its dynamism, and it's a very exciting and happening place, and we want to be part of that. I think that Scotland and India can have tremendous cooperation and collaboration in the years ahead, and I definitely think there's tremendous opportunities, economic, socially, culturally and educationally, as my colleague Pam Gozal has already mentioned. So whether it's fintech, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's aerospace, we can move forward, and we can move forward, we think, very quickly, and at our debrief we were very excited about the work that we intend to do to try and take that forward. The other thing, of course, that cannot go unmentioned is the phenomenal hospitality and generosity that we've experienced here. I mean, I think it really has been quite incredible. People in Scotland think of ourselves as being hospitable and generous, but I think here in India, you really have taken that to a new level. So, and you'll notice that I haven't mentioned whiskey, but there you go, I've just mentioned it, and golf too.
Did you try
Okay,
Indian whiskey? Yeah, we're not so Scotch.
we have actually, this is absolutely true, only in the last 10 minutes or so have we tasted any alcohol, any of us, since we came to India. That's true. From my perspective, that's not because I was particularly well behaved, it's because Pam Gozal plied me with 4 glasses of champagne on the plane when I happened to visit her in business class. So, so I've been recovering from that ever since. But no, it's been an absolutely phenomenal visit, and I'm really quite upset that I've got to be on a plane at 1:35 this morning to head back. My colleagues will be going back 24 hours later, unfortunately I've got business.
I will be partying tomorrow without you.
Aye, I bet they will as well, you know. I mean, it'll be, you know, I just want to see the video that Dan will take.
You won't get any champagne now. Go back.
No, I won't actually. But anyway, no, it has been absolutely tremendous. Also, the people who've met us have been so knowledgeable, and you know, they've given us so much of their time that we really appreciate that. So we'll be saying only good things about India when we go back home, all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Council of Cultural Relations. So on this moment, Prabha Khaitan is essentially a cultural organization. So I would love to hear a few words.
Thank you. I'm here because Poonam is here.
Yes.
And also I'm here because, not because I'm Joint Secretary in ICCR, because I was in Edinburgh as Consul General, and I'm so delighted to welcome the Inter-Party Parliamentary Delegation which is here, and they are spending good time. I was like indirectly involved in, like, you know, getting their this thing crafted and all. So very glad that you're enjoying it. And I always cherish the good moment I had in Edinburgh and Glasgow. I can see that Sham was speaking a truly Glasgow tone. So
Yeah.
that reminded me.
I was born in Glasgow.
So that reminded me, oh my God, I was there at some point of time. So, you know, this is true to say that you can take out a person out of Scotland, but you cannot take out Scotland out of that person.
Yes.
So there is a little bit of Scotland within me, which is like, you know, prompted me to come here. The warmth and, you know, the affection and the love I was showered during my days there. I was in working in close association with the Scottish Parliament, my friend Fazal Chaudhry, and many Indian community over there, whom you all know. And one thing I just wanted to tell you about the India and Scotland relationship. If you can remember, the first delegation from Britain, so much so that UK to India, which came like 300 years ago, was from Scotland. And the first batch of Scottish people, they came here to lay the train and rubber and then tea plantation over here. So they made the roadway for the other British to join in. So that's why the relationship between Scotland and India, I consider, is older than the relations between the India and the Great Britain. So that is why we cherish this moment. And I'm here also, as I said, because Poonam is here. She's always been like, she was born in India, but now she is from Scotland actually, and she is acting as a connecting link, a bridge between India and Scotland, especially in the commerce and now in the culture also. She has already planned many more delegations in the coming time, already visited many places. She also does a lot of charity work, a lot of philanthropist work she take, and she is wonderful. She is the lady who's self-made, I must say, and in just 20 years in the business, they celebrated the PG paper, and she has brought it up to the I think one of the most leading paper trading company, not only in the UK but into the entire world. Her business is across the 60 country, and so I must say that amongst the first women, as you mentioned, Poonam Gupta is the first Indian woman entrepreneur and the businessman in Scotland. And I'm the first lady consul general from India in Scotland. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy your stay here. And I'll come back to Scotland because I have taken that task of translating Robert Burns' leading poem into Hindi literature. Wow. And Sahitya Academy is doing that, publishing it. So I'll come with my delegation, which will be at least 2-3 members from Sahitya Academy and myself, and then some more. So I wish to see you over there in the Scottish Parliament and also in Scotland, Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anjuji, for that. Poonam really is a fantastic friend and such a great entrepreneur. We're very proud of you, Poonam. So when Sandeep Bhutoria asked me as to who will represent Scotland the best for Prabha Khaitan Foundation, there's only one name that came to my mind, and that was Poonam's. And I'm so glad, Poonam, and you're absolutely worthy, dynamic, brilliant, and a sweetheart. And that's a friend's bias too, but lovely. Let me invite Miss Neelam ji here to give a vote of thanks. Final vote of thanks. She is a prominent sportswoman. She has played for India, and she is a rock star golfer, to say the least.
One thing everybody forgot to mention about the Scotland is the St. Andrews golf course. And I am a die-hard golfer. So that part is one of the best courses in the world. Today's meet and greet with the eminent delegates from Scotland is surely a momentous moment for us. The gracious presence of Gitanjali Shri has made it even more special. I, Neelam Pratap Rudi, SAS Woman of Delhi, on behalf of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, express my deepest gratitude to all of you for taking out your precious time from your busy schedules. I also express my sincerest gratitude to Dr. Poonam. Dr. Poonam Gupta, very enlightened to hear what you had to say. Very proud of you. Pam Gosar, the Member of Parliament from Scotland, an Indian. Thank you so much for sharing such vast experience about you as an Indian there. And one question I wanted to ask you, that we in India also have taken out reservation, 33% reservation for women, and wanted to know how is it in Scotland? Faisal Chaudhry, Kenneth Gibson, for giving us this opportunity to spend time with us this evening. Please, after this, we will be everybody will be joining us for dinner. Thank you.
She's,
I will just bring the agenda.
she has a mic.
First of all,
Thank you.
when you say 33%, we were at the meeting. He made it a point, and he's very much empowered by talking about women, so it was really good. So in the Scottish Parliament, we're nearly around about 50%. But what's also good, in every party, I believe there is work being done. I can certainly tell you in the Conservative Party, we have Women to Win. We have Conservative Women Organisation, and a founder and basically chair, co-chair with Paneet Gupta, Poonam's husband. We started the Scottish Conservative Friends of BAME. So I am currently putting women forward for the Parliamentary Assessment Board. So I'm training them, pushing them forward, and we're getting a few Asian women through so that they can stand in the next general election next year. So very progressive, I think, all the work that our parties are doing, but certainly we can learn from each other always. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.